Welcome back everyone, Steve's Place Down Under, part 3 of the Kenworth Twin Steer restoration. Today we're going to, I've just done a bit off camera actually, we're going to set this tray, not on the chassis properly, but just in the position it's going to be. We're going to get rid of those timbers and then we're going to slide her up and see where it's going to sit, and then we're going to mark it all. So the reason it's so far back at the moment, for those of you who didn't see the first 2 episodes, go back and watch those so all this makes sense. That guard was hanging there. You can see where the rope rails have been cut out for the drive axles. That guard was hanging there and it was hitting the fuel tank. That's why we had to sit it so far back. So I've cut that off. They are on hinges. Well, the front one was. Back one is too, so that'll just sit on the wheel. Slide it up to where it's going to sit so we can mark the overall length of it and the spacings for the drive axle, because nothing looks worse than when the rope rails and the gap in your cross members don't line up with the drive tyres. The other problem we've got is this exhaust system here. That is going to set us back a little bit. So whether I don't know what to do though, whether we move it or whether I modify the tray to go around it, because I can't come under. It's just going to have to clear too many drag links and everything because of this second steer here. Or if I go up over it, it's going to interfere with your turbo and your oil fill and everything. So I think I could probably lose that gap there, but it's still going to be in the way a little bit. So we'll slide it up to that and then we'll see what happens. It may be a bit long. I eventually want to put a beaver tail with ramps on it, so if I've got to trim it down, that piece will be added back on later anyway for your angle to get the tray lower. So that's what we're going to do at the moment. Okay, just off camera I fixed that. The last couple of videos she's had an air leak at the front when you put your foot on the treadle valve, on the brake pedal. All the rubbers just fallen to bits in the... I didn't have one. I thought that was the same, but it's not. That's just a dump valve. I pulled one off the grey Kenworth out there, and then I'll have to get one for it. So we brought it forward so we can line the front of the tray up with that chain block, so we're not stuffing around with 2 machines. And then we'll put the forklift at the back. We just want to go up and get them timbers out, even though the timbers will be there. When it's fitted properly, this is still going to give us an indication of length and position, and so get the forklift going. The only thing is with it hasn't got side shift. We just come on an angle and pick it up and walk it over. When it's all marked out, we'll probably move this old chamberlain. I won't do that on camera. If you want to see that one, there's 2 or 3 videos of it now, picking it up out of the bush. First start after 28 years or something, and unloading it. I think there's 2 or 3. So we'll put the tray there, then we can put the truck back in there. We'll jack her all up, do some chassis work to it, get all the wheels off so we can paint it, and go from there. Pick her up on an angle. It hasn't got side shift, we've got to pick it up. We got it pretty close. I just had to tie it to the back of this other truck here because the front's not, it's not quite hanging centre in the shed. Rather than move the truck, we just tied it there. If we can just get this one to here, and that one coming through under there, that you, I don't know if you can see that, it comes through. If we extend it out to here, it's going to be pretty good. These, I don't know what we'll do there, but piss with the cock you got. Still got that much. This would move in here, all that would move in that far, I reckon. Guards rubbing on the tyres. Waiting for him to turn around. I've got Dad helping me today. Mick's not here. If you are into that sort of content, if you're new here, we've got all sorts of stuff here we play with all the time. All these other old girls. Road transport, old farm equipment, and a couple of old earth movers that we get out from time to time. This is just a small sample of the tractors I got. sitting up on some 4 drums. It's a bit rough here. The idea was to block it up tight and then lift the front, so I just all leave it up off the chassis, and that did work, but I don't think they can really give up because that one there's pretty good. Shook it pretty hard and there's not much movement. I'd rather that sitting on the edge of the drum, not on the top of it like that, but anyway, it's fine. To get the 9-inch cutting wheel out so I can cut right through those. I think that's priority, do those. Then a bit of work to the back of it, and then it's really just rubbing it back now. We're not cutting it off, so just try and make some of these rope rails. I've got another tray that I shortened up the top there where all my junk is. It was off my 3070 Acco. I shortened one to put on it, but I since sold it, so I've still got the tray, and I think it's still got some of that same size rope rail on it. If not, I don't think it'll be hard to get. No, I'm going up the bottle shop, then I'll be back. Okay, I'm cutting these cross members out. I've actually used the little Chinese plasma cutter to get up in around all the welds, because you can't get a 5-inch disc or anything up in around there. Sort of up in those corners there, so I've just been using it like a little oxy torch, I suppose, and going through some tips, but it's working really well. I don't know how else I'd do it. So I've got 3 out. One's got to go back into here, as you can see through there, to join up with that one. That'll be in the front of the front drive tyre. I've got to put one back in the middle here, which I'll have to find one to go right through. There's none to join up with there, and then that one will be the rear one where the guard will hang off. You can hear the petrol air compressor running, because if I run the one in the workshop and plasma cutter at the same time, it'll trip the circuit, so that's why I'm using the petrol air compressor. Still got 3 to cut out over the other side. Taking about 45 minutes to get all those after the 9 inches seem to be using. Got 3 more to go here. Still got to cut those with the 9-inch then the plasma, so still a bit to do. Steady. Just having a light refreshment here. I just opened one up. Had a couple of sips out of it and then started hitting one of them members and she fell over, so there you go. what's wrong with the compressor. I think it's time for a beer. Some of those are welded in different spots than others. But I'll cut on the other side to get those three off. These ones are welded in different spots. So anyway, they're off now. A lot of cleaning up, straightening that rail out, but it is what it is. Something we can't handle. I'll turn that noisy compressor off. I'm still using your helmet too, Mark. Thank you, mate. Well, on the upside of having no one here today, apart from Dad, which he lives here. Mick's not here today, but there are pros to that. You get a 24 pack of beer, that means I can have 12 more. You can see how many he's missing. I only just went up the, sort of nipped up there early and got the box. Stuck out and see what Dad's doing. He's got a bit of music on here. I'll get a copyright. I'll have to tell him to turn it off, then I'll show you what he's doing. Just going to have a look at what my Dad's been doing here. So as I showed you earlier with the exhaust pipe being taken up a bit of that chassis room, we're going to, this wasn't 90 as I showed you earlier. It's been cut crooked, I'd say. I'd say it was a 90. It's just been cut on that angle and welded. So we're going to cut that back to so it's 90, and then, I don't know, a couple of inches out of it, move the whole lot closer to the block, bearing in mind those throttle linkages just there. And that should give us what we need on the tray. Just straightening this up is going to give us about 4 inches here because it's coming out on that much of an angle. So if we can do that, I think it's going to line up quite nicely. That ideally should be brought in a bit, and then a bit of flex pipe could be redirected, but that can happen later because there's a join here. But all the modifications at the moment are on this side of that join, so that's what's going on there. A bit of other chassis work to do to it. I've just got to find the 7 core, so you need blinkers either side, which is 2 wires. You need an earth, you need a reverse, stop and tail, so, and then your blues always spare. So you run a 7 core, you use 6 of them. If you've got a couple of reverse lights there, if we can get them going, that'll be all right. But a bit of a bird's nest there if we can just power everything up. And there's not a lot of work to do on the chassis. There's a brake relay valve to change when you park the emergencies or the maxis. It dumps through the dash, not that valve, which needs to happen. She's in pretty good order, really. Take the fuel tank off now, flush it. It's had those those lead, I don't know what they're for, even anodes, I suppose. I'm not sure, to stop it rusting or electrolysis, but they are missing, and over the years it's sat there getting water in it. That's why it's running off that. Need one more battery for it. We've got to make some proper leads rather than these bodgy connections here. But all in all, I'm very happy with it. Found a bit of 75mm to put right through the tray. That's coming up well. I'm just having a drink over here. That's why I've stopped at the moment. Tomorrow's Father's Day. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a bit on it or what I'm going to do. Might come over and do a couple of hours. Every bit helps. Looks better just with those missing. Just give you a look in the cab. I don't know that you've ever been in here. She's quite tidy. Quite tidy, really, for those there are nothing to do with me. Needs another ignition barrel. That's the key out of the grey Kenworth. Needs this dash. I don't know why that's out. All in all, she's pretty good. A 76 model truck. Okay, so if you are liking what you're seeing, please share and subscribe. Click the like button, it helps us grow here. I've got big plans if we can grow it up and get a bit more out of it. There's things I want to do and share with you, there's things I want to show, but I need that time, and I can't get any time without growing this. But in this series, there's also going to be a semi-trailer. There's an LNT in there with a 903 in it, which I want to put a float on. It's actually rigid at the moment. I want to put a turntable on it and tow our little float up there with it to the show. So, and then there's going to be loading the trucks that are already ready with what we're taking to the show. So this is going to be ongoing. If you like what you see, please subscribe and help us not only help us grow, but you'll be notified if you're enjoying this series. Okay, you'll notice it's dark. It's now Wednesday night. It's a bit dark to be working on the tray over here, but I've decided to come over through the week, which I don't usually do, and might do some electrical work just so I can keep this series of videos rolling, plus the job itself. So you're all seeing for the first time those clearance lights are on. I've never ever checked those, never ever flicked the lights on. They all appear to be working, and I don't think you need them in the headlights when it's got those ones there, so they can be seen from both front and side. So hasn't got any on the mirrors. Doesn't look like it's ever had. Not in the dark here anyway, but yeah, no, it doesn't look like it's ever had any on there. I don't mind the look of them on the mirrors, just even just one, but anyway, that's not going to stop us from getting it done. What I was going to do is just flick one option on at a time and see where we've got power. It's a bit of a mess, the wiring on this thing, but there is the correct amount of wires back here, so I'm just going to go through those and see if there's any that do work. Okay, I couldn't get the thing in reverse because it's not lining up. I have to spin the motor over, and I'm not going to do that. So I've just joined, put the wires on both on one terminal on the switch on the transmission, and it should be black. I don't think blue's got anything. It's not live with the key on. It should be black. Okay, there you go. That's working too. So that's four we've got here. We've got the earth working, got left blinker, got tail, and now reverse. I'll just unplug that off the transmission and see if it's going to work. Okay, if that was reverse, that shouldn't work now. No, that's it. Very good. So now we've either got to locate the stop switch and bypass it, see if that red glows, or we've got to build the air up, which I'm not going to do now. It's too late and too noisy, plus the exhaust is off it. And we could look under the dash to see what the other blinker wire is doing. So the reason these lights weren't coming on is they're just not hooked up. So that should go to that black. They're already earthed to the chassis and those should work, but I'm going to bring them out onto the tray. So, well, somewhere closer to it anyway. Just forgive the sound in this in this electrical part of this video because my remote microphone didn't charge. So I'll show you what we've got here. I don't know, it's been teed out of the main loom and then there's a 7 core going each way. So whether one went each side to the light bar that should have been on the whatever was on the back of it, the truck, or one went to a trailer plug, because it has got fittings there, like it had some glad ends on it for a dog. But anyway, they're going to be wired the same no matter where it went. It's just there's a bit of additional stuff here that I think is just for those bodgy reverse lights. I didn't notice those on the other day. I might even have to go and look at the videos, but I'll put it in reverse in a minute. When we brought it in the shed, I didn't notice those on. It's fairly rough, but it's just one loom here. I don't know what that would have been. And there's one further down here. I don't know what that would have been either, because the only wires you really need back here is a 7-core. There may be a sensor on one of these air tanks, but that'd be all you need. And then the series parallel switch is been disconnected, but it's down under there, so I don't know. Unless it had sensors or something on the back, but it should only have 7-core running to the back. Well, that's all it needs anyway. That's all it's going to end up with. So we just got to find where that comes from. If any of this here does work, I will just get rid of the rest. I'll just strip a bit of it back and start probing a little bit. Just get a certainly not as soft as it would have been. Brown should be the one that's live at the moment, and that should be the earth to go with it. Yellow and green are your blinkers. Red stop. Black could be reverse in this situation. Correct me if I'm wrong, just from memory. I may be wrong. Blue's usually spare. Now I will bear it just to see if there is anything going on with it. Blue's for sort of electric brakes and stuff on your cars, and could be a hot wire or a constant power back here for something. So, not using a multimeter, just a test light. There you go. She's got tail lights. That's going to save a lot of work. I might just earth that out. See if it actually has a chassis earth. if I go to that, and that brown should still be working if that's a good earth. Yes, it is. So that's a good chassis earth there. It's a clean earth. Okay, so we've got that. I don't like any of this, but I'm more testing that the power's back here. I might just cut it back here, knowing that that works, and put a nice piece of 7-core straight to the lights. I'll flick another option on. So you got no blinkers back here, but in saying that, the one on the cab's not working either. It's clicking inside on the dash, but nothing happening outside. Okay, we got left, so the right hand blinker in the cab, there must be a problem. This is not working on the corner of the cab or back here. It's just up in the cab there, and I'll just try a few other options, and she's all starting to come to life. Even the interior light, I left that all on. Look at that. Got the blinker working. I don't know what I did. I just flicked the hazards on, then next minute it all come to life, so I don't know what happened. Now they're working either side individually. The radio even works. I flicked that on. Local station here started to play a little bit of music that I'm not interested in, but regardless whether I like it or not, it's copyright, so I had to turn that off to show you the next stage here. Just while that radio was on, I tested the wire, and there's still no power here, even though the one on the cab's working now. So I just started unwrapping this rat's nest here. Must have got a good deal on electrical tape that month. Not knocking tape at all. I use heat shrink, but I do like tape. There's nothing wrong with it. There's just a lot of it here. So there's the one we've been testing. Yeah, okay. Well, the green's not even hooked up. So what I'm thinking is the green's hooked up this side, which it should be. Yes, it is. So that these would have went to either side. So if I test the green, I just bear this tape back here. Expose this solder or this twist or crimp or whatever they've done here. That should technically be working. It sure is. So all we need now is brakes. I know where that switch is, but whether I just check that when it's running, you know, it's going to be going on the weekend. I sort of like what's going on here. This is going to make the job a hell of a lot easier. This is one of those things you could be digging up under the dash and all the way along the chassis, but it appears to be working, which is great. Really know what the story with the black is here. The black was live on that one that I tested before. And it's going back down through to that one there, so that's right. So we've got reverse, got left and right, we've got earth, stop and tail. Okay, so I think what needs to happen is it needs nipping here, because all that's working. I don't know why that's going back to there. But it's going to stay like that. They could have run a hot wire because something's broken in here back to that switch. I'm going to leave that because it's working. So what it all needs doing is cutting through there. I'm going to trust that that brake light's working, because this was a going truck and everything else is working. And I can't stand mess like this, so I'm going to cut it back. I want to leave that one because I'm not sure what they do. So I could do some further testing. I would say it's a bodgy thing they've taken right down to that switch. Or they've picked reverse up for, you know, something that needs triggering when it is in reverse, like another light on the tray or a backup alarm somewhere, but that should be back here, not further up the chassis. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a good result. Then what we'll do, we'll just go along and tile this stuff up, make sure it's well insulated, and I don't think it needs shit like this. Our girls have a lot of stuff added over the years, and it really doesn't need it, but if I can just tie it all up neat and tidy, and it was working, the RMS would have passed it like that. Shouldn't have any sensors on the air tanks, because the low air switch on these is usually under the dash. All this sort of rubbish here. Yeah, she's getting there, quite tidy, really. All right, everyone, I'm going to do an outro, so it's not facing me, so I can talk right into the speaker. As I said, the microphone's not working. That's a good result. I'm going to go home now and get ready for work tomorrow. So, thanks everyone for watching. Please click the like button, please share, please subscribe. It costs absolutely nothing. Just click and it helps us grow. If you want to see this channel continue on and beyond 2024, please help it grow. And if this has a lot of interest, we might even do something else after it, whether it's one of the Accos, or I've got that 4070 there, which once I get windscreens for, that'll be another one as well. So if you are liking it, please help us along, please follow. I do have social media, Instagram and Facebook under the same name if you want to do. I tend to forget about it and don't check it a lot, but if you want to share something, please send it along to that, and I do remember it a couple of times a week. Thanks everyone for watching.